Buckle up, we're going on a road trip back to Silent Hill. So Silent Hill is a strange video game adaptation because on one hand, I don't think it's an amazing movie or anything, but I also see the appeal to it, why it's kind of got a cult classic status. Because when it came out, I think a lot of people had a problem with it, but over the years we have gotten so many bad video game adaptations. This movie has kind of aged well in all of our minds. It's an above average version of that. It's kind of sad to say. Now, when I was younger, I used to love these video games. I have not played any of the new ones, the remastered Steam versions of them, which begs another question, by the way. Would you guys ever want to see something like that? Me live stream with commentary, play horror games, something like that, talk to you guys? Comment down below, let me know. It's something I could be open to. When I first saw this movie like 20 or so years ago, I thought it was okay, kind of a letdown, but over the years, I think it is a pretty good adaptation of what it's trying to accomplish. This is not a masterpiece or anything, don't get me wrong. This movie is kind of only known for two reasons. Pretty much above average video game adaptation, and it's also one of the only movies ever where Sean Bean's character doesn't bite the bullet. Spoiler alert. And the movie gets right into it as well. Right in the opening scene, you find out the daughter of this family is having visions and nightmares of Silent Hill. Nobody in the family knows why. They don't know what the town is. But eventually the mother says, fuck it, I guess the best course of action is to drive all the way across town and try to find this place and take my daughter to it, which starts a trend for what this movie is going to be. This mother is extremely reckless. She's driving about 80 miles per hour. She crashes, swerves out, hits her head, and she wakes up in Silent Hill, but the daughter is missing. And throughout the course of the movie, it's going to bounce back and forth and juggle between two perspectives. Her perspective and Sean Bean, her husband's perspective. So you're either with her in the town looking for the daughter, or you're outside of the town with Sean Bean and the cops looking for the daughter. And he's kind of like, yo, where the fuck are my wife and kids? And yeah, aside from that, that's basically the plot of the film. You can click off now. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's about the whole extent of the movie. You're just following all these characters in this creepy town, trying to capture the atmosphere of the video game again. And I think it's pretty effective at that, but not going to win best screenplay by any means. There's not a whole lot going on here. One of the things I loved about the old school video games is the creepy aesthetic of the town. All these weird organisms or creatures, and it's snowing all the time, and it's very misty. In the movie, I believe it's ash because the town burned down, but in the video games, it was snow. But because it's constantly snowing ash from the sky in the movie, it does give you that creepy, dreamlike aesthetic to the entire movie, which is kind of the starting point you need to immerse yourself in this town to begin with. I also like some of the creative choices of this movie. I like the way that it is filmed at certain points, like a third-person video game. Very similar to the old school Resident Evil games, when you had that locked camera above your head, almost in a janky way, when you're trying to walk throughout these buildings and these towns. In the third-person aesthetic of the character, the way the camera is set up, I just think that's a very creative choice to kind of throw you back to the video games if you have ever played them. I'm also a big fan of the soundtrack of this movie. It's got a very piano-heavy, almost OST-like vibe to it, where it's got this very somber melody going on because this is this cryptic ghost town she's walking through. I just think it all pairs up really well. When you have the fact that it's snowing ash, it's got that piano on going, and it's got this very misty, dreamlike aesthetic to it. It does feel like you are in this abandoned ghost town. Again, better than a lot of video game adaptations. And even though I think the game is creepier, I do think the movie does have some upsetting visuals, especially some corpses, some creature design, all the way up into Pinhead. Did I just say Pinhead?
What do you call him, Pinhead?
I'm telling you guys, you're talking to a camera long enough, you will go insane. Pyramid Head is what I meant to say. I think his design is good as well. Some of the special effects, as I'm going to get into, not so much. But let me say this, as I already talked about some of the designs being good, the special effects in this movie are pretty much ass, which is what completely holds this movie back, especially after all these years. Every time I revisit it, it's okay at certain points. At best, I'm going to say it's okay. But they try to use this effect of bugs crawling everywhere way too many times, and it is terrible. Straight out of the early 2000s CGI bin, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is also pretty much overacting the movie. Every single person in this film, from the opening scene, is acting like the rent is due, but not in a good way. Especially Sean Bean. This guy is acting like if he does not give his all in every single scene, even basic dialogue, they are going to evict him at noon tomorrow. Which I guess depends on your preference as a horror film, but in this movie it feels completely shoehorned in. All the way down to the daughter's acting. Like every character's at a 10 out of 10. Every scene. I've also always found this movie to suffer from stupid characteritis, where basically every scene you have a character presented with a logical choice they can make, they make the dumbest possible answer to it every single time, especially a cop character in this movie. I know she's one of the main characters by the end of it, but I always find her character to just be so stupid. I mean, there's a scene in this movie involving the cop where she holds out a gun to this clear as day creature. It's like spewing acid from its neck. It has no head. She's holding out her weapon like she's trying to apprehend a criminal. Like, this is not a person. And she's just following protocol. So again, dumbass characters in this. And finally, I will say, even though I've said this movie kind of works for me because I played the video games, this is kind of a turn your brain off adaptation. This is a movie that entirely depends on what you think of the world building, what you think of that environment. Do you think it's creepy? Do you think the soundtrack is effective? Because there is basically no story to be had. You are just walking around throughout this town as the mystery unfolds, but there's like no central narrative to it whatsoever, as if you're playing a video game but visually through this movie. So one of those clear-cut examples where you could possibly find the video games to just be more effective, so you're like, why wouldn't I just play the games? If you're somebody who doesn't like these video games, or you don't play video games overall, you're probably saying, why would I watch this movie? I don't want to play the game, and I don't want to watch a version of the movie with no central narrative. But regardless, I do have a good time with Silent Hill. I don't think it's a masterpiece or anything. It's like a sloppy, greasy cheese and pepperoni pizza that every once in a while you just need to smash, and you know afterwards you're going to regret it because it's just not that good. But even though it's not that good, that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it, because I have a good time with Silent Hill. So yeah, comment down below. Let me know what you think of this movie, what you think of this franchise. You want me to do a ranking after the new one comes out? Again, that video game idea. Would you guys ever want to see me stream, commentate horror video games, something like that? Comment pizza down below. I'm trying to see something who made it this far in the video, just to take my own personal notes. Aside from that, I will see you in the next review. Peace.